Hello everyone, in this video let us talk about four languages that you should consider learning in 2020. So if you are, let us say, in college, you're doing your engineering, or maybe you have already graduated and you are in your early stages of your career, or you may be already working and you have already some experience. Maybe you have been working for 5 years. To be honest, it doesn't really matter, but especially if you are in the early stages of your career and if you're a student, then you must be wondering whether you should or what language you should consider learning and spend your time most on. So, the first language that I want to talk about today is Java. Of course, it is not really a surprise. Java has been in the market for many years, and I will be talking about four languages in this video, but this is not really just based on the popularity. I have mostly three factors that I want to consider. The first factor is definitely the demand in the market. If you learn a language and if you are, let us say, really good in it, then you really want to get a job. And you will only get a job when companies are using those languages and companies are using or building technology around those languages. So definitely, demand in the market is one factor. The second factor, which I think, in my opinion, is really important, is the longevity of that language. You don't really want to learn a language which is very new. It just came out last year, or maybe you don't really want to learn a language that was very popular maybe 5 years ago, but it is uh, not really popular nowadays, or maybe the popularity is decreasing sharply. And the third factor is uh, the application of that language. So you can learn a language to do one thing, or maybe two things, or maybe plenty of things. So these are three main factors that, of course, I'll be talking about. So I was talking about, of course, Java. And Java is, of course, used by a lot of big companies, and it has been there in the market for quite a while. But Java has a lot of applications. If you want to, let us say, build your career in mobile development, you may be doing a job for someone else, or maybe you're looking for some opportunity where you want to join a mobile development company, or maybe you want to start your own startup. So nowadays, of course, or in fact, for the past 5 years, roughly 5 years, mobile development, especially mobile development on Android, is still very popular even in 2020. So if you learn Java, you can do mobile development on Android. You can also do web development. Java has a lot of applications in data analytics. So these are, of course, few areas where Java has applications. But if you learn Java, uh, you have more chances to get a job. So if we just do a quick search on any job portal, you will find plenty of companies asking for a Java skill. So of course you have uh, different things, different applications that you can do with Java. Like, as I mentioned, mobile application, for example, a mobile development using Android. But Java is, of course, the main thing. When you know Java, when you know the language, then you can, of course, focus on a specific application. Learning Android development is probably quite safe in 2020, and you will uh, not find it very difficult to get a job. Let us talk about salaries. If we talk about learning Java in India, the average salary for Java developer is roughly around 6 lakhs per annum, which is uh, not really bad, to be honest, because it is, of course, an average, but it really depends. It really depends on the company. It really depends on your profile. And when you learn Java, you can, of course, keep on adding more skills, You will keep on learning the language and you will keep on gaining experience, developing things for, let us say, your company, and you will, of course, grow. But learning Java is quite safe, in my opinion, in 2020. The second language that I really want to mention is Swift, because when you talk about Swift, it is something that you would learn to build app for iOS. Now, if you want to learn, let us say, one language, or maybe if you want to learn two languages, then I'm in this video, I'm giving you a list of four languages. You should, of course, learn at least two of them, depending upon your interest, depending upon what you can potentially do in future. But Swift is one language which I would recommend you to learn, because it is not very difficult language to learn. I was able to learn Swift and also build a mobile app and also launch it, publish it on the App Store, and that was in 2015, 5 years ago. So I was able to do all that within 2.5 months or maybe 3 months max. So learning Swift is not very difficult, but if you learn Swift, if you spend time learning Swift, and if you, let us say, develop a couple of apps, you can actually earn a lot of money, because uh, the salaries are really good in iOS development. So keep Swift as maybe your second language, maybe third language, but definitely consider learning Swift in even in 2020. The third language that I want to talk about is, again, not a surprise, and that is JavaScript. I don't really have to tell you that JavaScript is one of the most popular even in 2020. And the good thing about JavaScript is that you can do so many things with JavaScript. You can do web development. You can use it for, of course, even developing mobile apps using frameworks. And there are plenty of frameworks, plenty of popular frameworks like React or Angular that actually relies on JavaScript. So JavaScript is getting quite popular, and the popularity is actually increasing with time. Long back, JavaScript was just a scripting language for doing validations on web applications on the front end, for doing like when you're working with web applications, it was limited to what you can do on the browser. But nowadays you can do backend development as well, and JavaScript is actually one of the hottest language in 2020. So I would say learn Java if you want. Focus your energy on learning Java along with maybe Swift. So when you have Java and Swift combination, you can be assured that you will be able to find a job in a company who is into mobile development. If you know both, and if you have experience doing both, then I think the person who is looking at your resume, or the person who will probably judge you for your skills, I think you have a very good chance when you know Java and Swift and you have been working on mobile development. But the last language that I want to talk about today is Python. Python is by far the most popular language in 2020, even popular than JavaScript, and the the applications of Python is even more than JavaScript or maybe Java, because Python is extremely easy to learn. You can start learning Python in the next 2 hours, and you will be able to, I assure you, you will be able to develop a small working app that you can actually play with, that you can actually show it to show it to your stakeholders, your clients, or maybe your friends, and you can actually impress them. So you can actually build something really useful using Python very quickly. It has, again, plenty of applications. You can do mobile development, you can do web development, you can do automation, and again, there are plenty of frameworks that rely on Python in 2020. Python has applications in artificial intelligence, in machine learning. There are so many libraries that you can use that are built on Python. So out of these four languages, if you are, let us say, in college, I would say learn at least three of them. Java, you should not ignore. And if you learn Java and Python, and if you have done some development, let us say, you have built a couple of mobile apps in Java and you know how to work on Python, maybe you have developed some scripts, then I think you are in a good situation. You will be able to impress the potential employers. And if you're doing engineering, especially computer science engineering, then of course you do a lot of things. Your curriculum is based on Java. If you're learning, let us say, algorithms, then of course Java is useful. Apart from, of course, C++, I'm not really talking about C++ here because I'm talking about things that you can do easily, with not a great difficulty, and that also has demand in the market as compared to, of course, C++. Java has plenty of demand. So I don't think you should ignore Java. If you are a computer science student, definitely learn it, along with at least maybe Python or Swift or JavaScript. So these are the four languages that I wanted to talk about in this video. And the whole purpose of this video is to give you some idea about where you should be focusing on in your learning. Because when you are thinking of learning a language, when you're thinking of adding a skill set, you will be spending time learning that language, learning that skill set, and it can take a couple of years. So let us say if you are in a second year of your engineering, you have 2 more years. If you have, let us say, started doing something with these languages, maybe develop a few mobile apps, launch it on the App Store. I know it costs money, but at least you can launch something on Android, because it is, I believe, only $25, which is not really that much. I also recommend you to build maybe a couple of web applications, web apps using maybe Python. So when you're learning a language, don't really just read documentation or read books or watch YouTube videos. Build something on top of it. I will be making more videos on some potential ideas on deciding what you can probably build. You can, of course, find ideas from your friends, your colleagues, maybe, or maybe your teachers, your professors. But feel free to also do something that is totally unique, because when you are trying to solve a problem using, of course, these languages, let us say you build a mobile app which is quite unique. I know it is very difficult in 2020 to think of an idea that is totally unique, but if you can think of something which is really unique, then I think you will really stand out when you will step out in the market after finishing your degree, and when you're looking for a job. These employers, these companies, they look for, of course, your skill set. They also look for your academic background, but they will also give you preference if you have built something really useful by showing them different projects that you have done in your free time. So I hope you found this video useful and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.